You can even put it up here. If you want, you can put it up here.
Yeah, because all I need to do is be able to see anybody at the podium, and when you move, yep, we can see the board. But it's there. The actual camera, this camera is not somehow loading up. So, but it is live right now. It is live and it's filming. Oh gosh, the microphone.
I mean, it is on, the microphone is on.
I don't know.
It has a built-in microphone. That's the one that's on. I can look for it.
But that's what we did before. It was the same microphone for the laptop cells. Must be. Thank you. Actually, tomorrow. Just a little bit. All right.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Scott. This was all stuff I was referring Yeah. Good evening, welcome to tonight's meeting. Thank you very much, Katie. We have little different computer, we just want to make sure everything was set up. Cameras live, mics live, hopefully transition will be a little better. Mike Noble, our IT man, was gracious enough to help us get some more laptops, and this was one of the ones that was prime on the list for getting taken care of. We welcome you to tonight's town board meeting. I ask that you be respectful, and if you have something to say, just ask at the podium, and please no cross-current talk back and forth. Again, courtesy and respectability is all we're asking for. If we can begin tonight's meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you. Just one little change. The first thing we have is a public hearing regarding the revision on the fee schedule, but we will not be taking action on it tonight. I had pushed incorrectly for thinking it should be resolution. It has to be revision of a local law. We did notify, we did put the proper publication out, but we have to postpone the actual action item until our next meeting for the revision of the code laws. But we do begin the public hearing for revision of current fee schedule for the zoning and planning board fees that we have still listed. Any comments from the public? Okay. Board members, care to say anything?
Other than it was put forth quite a while ago, stuff by the planning board and the zoning board, and they were the ones that made these recommendations and things. So I think it's appropriate that we abide by what they think.
Well, we agree with that, June. Thank you very much. Anyone else? Thank you. Do I have a motion to close the public hearing on the revision of the fee schedule?
So moved.
Thank you, David. Frank seconds. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Thank you very much. We now move to the regular session of tonight's meeting. Audit committee.
We reviewed bills and found insufficient to be paid.
Thank you very much. Do we have a motion? So moved. Thank you very much. I'll second. All those in favor of accepting the report of the audit committee?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstained? Thank you. Next item up is the public comment period. We invite any residents who care to make a comment, just come up to the podium, state your name, and make your comment. And again, we just ask that it be civil, and there's a podium if anyone cares to make a comment. Nicole, please.
Good evening. My name is Nicole Heppelman. I'm a zoning board member. I just have a question. I know this has been like several administrations, but we brought it to the attention, the side where the handicap parking is, about possibly putting a light up. I had come to a meeting whenever we had all that ice and snow, and it's just lit up by the little bulletin board. I was just wondering if there's still ever any possibility of maybe having a light put up on the building or like on the corner, so it will shine on the walkway for the handicapped entrance and where we park on that side. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Anybody else have anything right now? The monument has arrived, so, we can be thinking about that and what we want to do with the old one.
Okay.
The veterans monument has been delivered to our shop.
Oh, it's already.
It's in our shop, so we're gonna hold on to it till DJ can get the base board and all that.
Well, thank you very much.
Maybe we can, meet one night in the next week or so and plan out how we want the layout and
Okay.
anybody on the board wants to. Yeah.
I mean, we still got time.
Oh,
I mean, it just got delivered this morning, so I want to make sure that all the names are right before we
Yeah.
put it out there. Don't even.
Can I make one comment before we, about somebody else? Can you give us an update on the status of the bookkeeping situation?
UHY accounting is working on 22, 23. We're working with Betsy, trying to get some more progress on reconciliations. Accounting, and banking, we have closed 3 accounts, and we are in the process of moving on closing the 4th account, 98, 98.7, and we, for 57.93, where we have used the savings, we are using that just to a clearing for the T-bills that come back and forth. So that is what's going on there. And, we are going through with working on the 2025, QuickBooks, Katie's entering information. DJ is gracious enough to listen to what she had to say and putting in the sub-accounts for accurate, more entering information and get that squared away. So, thank you. Thank you very much. Other comment, public comments? Okay. Next item up is the town clerk minutes. First item is the February 13, 2025 town board meeting minutes. Has everyone had a chance to review them, and any comments on those minutes? Thank you very much, Eric. Thank you, June. All those in favor of accepting the February 13, 2025 minutes? Anyone opposed? Anyone abstained? Next item is the February 27, 2025 town board workshop meeting minutes. Has everyone had a chance to look at those? Any comments?
I'll accept that.
Okay, no second that motion. All those in favor of accepting the February 27, 2025 workshop meeting minutes? Aye. Anyone opposed? And June abstains. Thank you very much. Okay, correspondence. We just received a letter from DOT in referencing the speed, a request to change the speed on Main Street. DOT turned us down again in their study, and we can from wants to copy, we can make copies for you, but based on their measurements and the category that they use to determine speeds, they did not feel as if 40 miles an hour was an appropriate speed for Main Street. Liaison reports, planning board. Thank you, Don.
Don Heckman representing the planning board. I'll keep it short. We didn't have a meeting previously, so don't really have anything to report from.
Thank you very much for that, Don. Zoning board. Thank you, Nicole.
Nicole Heckelman representing the zoning board. We also did not have a meeting.
Thank you, Nicole.
You're welcome.
Fire company? Okay, fire company, Don did supply a report, financial report, and that should be everybody's packet, a rundown of what transpired for the month of February. Library.
Meg McClellan for the library.
Thank you.
For February, we had a physical circulation of 1,412 items, digital circulation 852. We had 247 people participate in programming, and the total visits for February were 843. In terms of programming highlights for the pre-K and elementary school kids, we had 18 come to a Love Can You Dig It Valentine's program. We had 16s come out to make sushi candles on Wednesday afternoon of February break. Our monthly diamond art program continues to be popular. In February, we had 16 attendees for diamond art. And then we just had over 40 people attend our first ever summer camp fair. In terms of coming attractions, this coming Wednesday, the Rensselaer County Conservation Alliance will be at the library to give an introduction to what they do. That's at 6 o'clock. Saturdays, crafts on Saturday for children continues every Saturday this month. On May 21st, kind of looking ahead, we have a program for estate planning. So this is called Ending the Confusion, Answers to All Your Estate Planning Questions. And this is going to be with the Herzog Law Firm. So that's in May on the 21st at 6. In April 17th, we have a Let's Dish program with Elderberry Springs Farm. And then on April 15th, we have a Rensselaer County Career Center will be at the library offering a job seeking assistance program. A few other highlights, the Freegal Music and Music Streaming Service is now available with the library card to Poestenkill residents. And the Friends of the Library monthly raffle is maple themed in March, including fresh maple syrup, a quilted table runner, and tasty maple treats. Tickets are on sale in the library, $2 each or 3 for $5, and the drawing will be on March 31st.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Okay, next item up is the youth advisory, and I got a report. Thank you, Joe. Thank you very much. Okay, from Kara, summer camp registration officially opened on March 1, and we're receiving many applications daily. That is an understatement. There were people chomping at the bit well before March 1st. We will continue to accept applications through June 1 or until all spots are filled. All field trips have been booked, and we have made deposits on several locations. We have reached out to returning staff and given them until March 31 to let us know if they were returning this summer. Depending on how many spots we have open, we will post for new applicants in early April. Easter egg hunt. The town Easter egg hunt is scheduled for Sunday, April 13th at 11 a.m. at the VFW post. We hope for cooperative weather and a large turnout. Thank you very much. Greg, if you would please. Conservation Advisory Committee.
Greg Matlow, Conservation Advisory Council. Good evening, Supervisor Russell and board members. The council, the CIC also did not meet this month. However, 23 strategies that are contained in the draft comprehensive plan were shared with the council. Strategies are another name for the to-do list. These strategies are the ones where the CAC is either going to be the lead or a participant. Jeff Briggs and I attended 2 meetings of the Comprehensive Plan Committee as representatives with CAC. In the case of Jeffrey, also has multiple hats being there. And that concludes my report.
Greg, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Next item on discussion items. A presentation by Craig McMillan regarding the the Sand Lake ambulance proposal. Thank you very much. And I welcome Leslie.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. How's everybody doing tonight? Good? My name's Craig McMillan. I run the Sand Lake Ambulance, and I'm here to answer any questions that people have about some of the discussions we've had. A little bit of background. I'm from New Zealand. As you hadn't figured out my uncle. I married an American girl and moved to Avon Park. And I currently am faculty at Hudson Valley. I teach at Hudson Valley. About 2 years ago, just over 2 years ago, Sand Lake Ambulance was in a particularly difficult position. They were struggling with staff, they were struggling with average calls answered, all that sort of thing. So I was approached to see if I could help out and figure out a way to solve these problems. So I recruited these 2 gentlemen in the back because they're suckers, Mr. Lasher and Dr. Hayashi, who some of you know, to help me out. And together, the 3 of us have kind of got things in a pretty good spot, really. We're now in a position where we're fully staffed, we're able to respond to calls appropriately, and we think we've got it in a pretty good place financially and operationally. So we have a lot of sympathy for the situation that you guys are in. We listen to the radio, we hear how difficult it is to get ambulances in your town. We know that the provider that has the contract for that response here is not reliable, and we really want to be part of the solution. We're not only trying to help you guys, but we've had multiple discussions with other towns about how we can work together and try and solve not just a problem for you guys, but a problem for everybody else. So we've put together a bit of a proposal which we think is obviously expensive, but what we believe is the best value that we can get for you. It's certainly something that, we feel we can afford to do, that we can provide a high quality service at pretty much the cheapest cost we could find. So I've shared that with the board, and I'm happy to talk more about it or answer any questions about it, whatever you guys would prefer.
Can you expand a little more? Can you go into a little more on your plan and then questions?
Sure, absolutely. That seems reasonable.
Thank you very much.
So currently we have 1 ambulance staffed 24/7 out of our station in Sand Lake. We have an agreement with North Greenbush Ambulance and Bruin Rescue, who are in East Greenbush, that if our ambulance is out and the second ambulance call comes, then one of their ambulances will come, and vice versa. And we do this multiple times a day. We're moving ambulances around to do all these sort of things. The other thing that you need to be aware of is about 70% of the calls happen during daylight hours. Between 10 a.m. and 8 p.m. at night, about 70% of 911 calls happen during the day. Kind of makes sense. Nobody's calling really at 3 in the morning when something's really, really bad. So our proposal is for us to add another ambulance for those daylight hours. So we would put a second ambulance on between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. to then cover Poestenkill. So what would happen then is that we would be responsible for ambulance calls in the town of Sand Lake and in all of the town of Poestenkill. And if there was 2 calls in the town of Poestenkill, then 2 ambulances from Sand Lake would come. If there was 2 calls in the town of Sand Lake, then they would both come. Now, the other part of that is that because we have this agreement with the other agencies, if there was 2 calls in the town of Sand Lake and then there was a call in Poestenkill, then an ambulance from North Greenbush would come and take it. And so we've had those discussions with our partners. Everybody's on board with that. So really, the proposal is not you guys getting an ambulance during the day. It's you guys getting 2, 4, 6 ambulances available to come if you need them in this town. So, you know, we're happy to discuss other options, but I think this is the best value for money for you guys, and also is going to give you high quality care, high quality service very, very quickly. I mean, the majority of people, I believe, in your town would probably live closer to our ambulance station than to the center of town here, right? Because they live on that 66. That's
Can you just clarify on the coverage at night and sort of make
sure. So at night, so after 8 p.m., would go down to 1 ambulance, but it would still be available to go to Poestenkill or Sand Lake. And again, North Greenbush has the same staffing model. They would have 2 ambulances during the day and 1 at night. So at night, there is less ambulances available, but there's less calls. I can tell you in the 2 years that we've been running this, there's been 1 time when there has been no ambulance available to cover the town of Sand Lake. And they called me from home, and I drove in and picked up an ambulance from the ambulance station, drove the call, and convinced one of the firefighters to drive us to the hospital. So we've got it taken care of. The system, you know, we can't give a guarantee you will always have an ambulance all of the time. It just, the system doesn't work like that. But, you know, we're very confident that, you know, this is a really good system that will work as well.
No. The ambulance is physically there, it's just not staffed.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So, we currently have 2 ambulances, and we're in the process of going to buy 3. So, yeah. So,
Do you have the staff to cover them all?
yeah, we would obviously have to hire more. Not necessarily, we would give more hours to some of the people we have. We don't anticipate that being a problem. Yeah. Somebody else have a question? Same question.
What would the average response time be for Poestenkill?
So the average response time for Sand Lake residents is 7.5 minutes. And obviously if you live on the top of Paverton, that's closer to 17 minutes. But when we map out our calls, they're actually mostly in that West Sand Lake area. That's where most population is. I can't imagine that we would be under 10 minutes for 95% of your residents, I would think. You know, and guys are, you know, Tim, who does most of the operation side of it, hired really good people. We have really good staff. We really like them a lot. They're very, you know, dedicated, enthusiastic, and take really good care of people. So, you know, they get out the door fast. They take good care of people. We don't have a problem with that either.
I have 2 things. Is there any role for volunteers to play and people in our community are interested in helping out with ambulance services? Is there a role for that? And the other thing is, if I want to go out and buy myself a new fully equipped ambulance tomorrow, what would it cost me?
So let me answer the second question first.
Okay.
New fully equipped ambulance is about $300,000. Unfortunately, things. Yeah. So that's what we are budgeting for a new ambulance. Is we hope to be under $300,000. So obviously we can spend more, but you know, that's to get all the necessary equipment. And because it's a paramedic ambulance, there's a level of equipment that goes with that responsibility. So to your second question, we currently do not have volunteers operationally in our ambulance service. When we took over, there was 3 left. And most of in fact, the 3 that were there were only staying because they knew nobody else was there. Right? So it's very, very difficult for somebody to volunteer their time at the level required to be competent to take care of people. That's not to say we don't have volunteers in our organization, which we do, and we certainly, and because this is a transition, right? It's been 2 years this month since we started. We've been lots of debate about what we're doing with the volunteers. They certainly help with fundraising and oversight, but they also, we've started doing blood pressure clinics. They want to do CPR classes, those sort of things. So there is definitely a role. I don't think it's very unreasonable to ask somebody to you know, get out of bed at 3 o'clock in the morning, or go spend an hour at the ER waiting to turn somebody over. And also the level of training that our guys need now is really pretty high.
What's the amount of calls that Sand Lake runs a year?
It's just under 900. We did 923 and 858 in the last year. The data that we have is about 275 calls in the town of Poestenkill last year and about the same year.
So the capacity of adding the daytime ambulance would allow you to maintain, for your current residents that really
For us,
outstanding response times.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to do this and lower your response time a little bit.
no, and so we've had discussions with the town board in Sand Lake about this as well. And obviously at night, the level of service that we're providing is less, right? Because there's only one ambulance for the 2,000. But during the day, the level of services is higher, and it actually benefits the people of Sand Lake just as much as it benefits the people of Poestenkill. Because this morning there was 2 ambulance calls within an hour of each other, and so in fact we had one with required 2 ambulances, and then a second call an hour later that our crew was already at the hospital with, and so another ambulance. So it's a win for both towns, we feel.
How did you turn the financial situation around? As much as you can share with
Sure.
TV.
I teach health economics at Hudson Valley. So I was able to understand the finances relatively well, and I've been doing this for 35 years. So there was significant amount of billing revenue that was unclaimed, or not appropriately billed or whatever. So that was a major part of it. So we were able to do that, and we made it pretty significant. So. Excuse me.
Any idea ballpark on how many calls you guys do for mutual aid?
We do monthly about 15 on average mutual aid calls currently. And that does vary month to month, no more than 20, no less than 10. And we probably turn over about half a dozen. I keep a pretty close idea on that. So about 6 times a month, somebody from North Greenbush Bruin is coming into our district, and about 15 times a month we're going into theirs. And that does vary, but I do keep a pretty close eye on that because it's a clear indication of how busy we are. And I like to know, if that number starts to creep up, then we need to do something different.
And did you say that you have, right now you have 1 full-time during the day?
Yeah.
And 1 full-time at night?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you have a fly car?
We have a fly car, but we don't staff it.
Which is right there.
Yeah. So, there is a model, right, where you could have an ambulance and a fly car, and that would allow you to go in different directions, but it doesn't generate you any income. You can't transport anybody in a fly car. So it doesn't really help you. Like if we were to put a staff member in that fly car, it would cost us, one person's like $250,000 a year.
$285,000.
Yeah. And then, but with no, we're not generating income from that. So. I like that.
Has you guys seen any increase in number of calls in your town recently?
So we're actually down this last year from the year before, which was a relative high. We're trending upwards, just population based, right? And Dr. Hashi can speak to this better than I can. People are sicker than they have been. And so we're seeing not only increase in call volume, but definitely iller people. And that has lots of reasons, but that's a large part of why, we all complain about the emergency departments, but they're crushed with really, really sick people, and so the ambulances are as well.
So that's interesting. 2020 census has 8,348 people in San Lake.
Yes.
If you want to know that, I just looked it up. But
I'm talking about.
So that's, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
So then ours is about 300, yours is about 8 to 9.
Yeah. So let me, just to give you some context on that, the number of calls in Sand Lake are closer to 700.
Oh, because.
Right, yeah, so it's 680 something.
And then the other ones are mutual.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So, in general, you need, New York City has one ambulance per 11,000 people, right? For a rural area, they say between one ambulance for 5 to 8,000 people. Yeah, because New York City has, 2-minute transport times and hospitals everywhere, and so they can turn those over quickly. Whereas from here, it's the average call length of time for us is closer to 2 hours. So that's why you can't.
More questions, do you have any questions for us, or are there questions that we haven't asked that we should be asking?
It's a valid question. I mean, I'm happy to go through the cost if you want more detail on how much it's going to cost. I mean, that's obviously the largest barrier for you guys, I'm sure. I mean, we have this discussion all the time, is that, we would love to build the ambulance service that we want, but really you've got to build the ambulance service you can afford, right? And I can tell you, I don't speak for anybody else, but we have been fighting for 2 years to try and improve, Takahashi especially, as you know, been fighting for 2 years to try and improve county-wide ambulance services, because you're not the only town that is in this situation. You're in, and we've unfortunately made very little progress. The county does not appear to have any interest in supporting any of it. I've spoken to county legislators about it, and they don't see it A as a problem or B as a county problem. So unfortunately, the towns and the town residents are kind of stuck trying to figure it out.
What I saw was the cost to the town of Poestenkill was approximately $270,000.
Yeah.
And you did the math last time to say about how much it is per household.
You want me to read that? I gotta hold my email for it.
Sure.
So, give me 1 second.
But this ballpark is,
Yeah,
we think I think you said 70-ish.
Can I put? All right. Sue was gracious enough, Lindsay was gracious enough to help me look up numbers. Roughly what it would equate to was what your, on your tax bill, what your current fire department coverage is.
Which is,
It varies from.
I mean, it depends on the value of the house again.
Fire department, I can tell you, is just over $4 per thousand.
So, for 270,000, which is pretty much, it's.
274.
Yeah, 360. Yeah. So the cost per 1,000 assessed value would be $3.84. But if you're talking total market value, it's 52 cents per 1,000 in market value. So for a $300,000 home property, that would be $154.76 a year. It's a $400,000 property, it would be $206.35 a year. And then if it were a $500,000 property, it would be $257.93. That's the range, so.
About the same as your garbage removal.
Yeah.
At least in mine, I'm gonna rip off. Yeah.
So yeah, and I think that is, I think it's maybe 2/3 or so of what the fire department,
Fire department's 360.
yeah.
Yeah, obviously we can offset some of our costs with the billing revenue.
And we'd be going from the worst ambulance response time in the county to among the better ones.
So North Greenbush has the best ambulance response time in the county, and we're the second best by about 25 seconds. Yeah, we'll beat them next year.
And you would be getting North Greenbush as well.
Yeah.
In the ideal world, and this is not going to be like an immediate thing, but in the ideal world, it would not be based on town lines, et cetera. It would be based on the closest ambulance to your house would go, right? And in some places in Poestenkill, North Greenbush station would be literally a couple minutes down the road, and Sand Lake station would be a couple minutes down the road. I don't, in this initial sort of, sharing of services, it's probably not going to be an immediate thing, but I think it is something that over time we could sort of push for.
We work really closely. Ryan, who some of you know from North Greenbush, was in our station today talking. We work really closely with them. We try and buy stuff together. We try and work on stuff together. So some of the guys, a lot of our guys work for him and vice versa. So, we are not the same place, but we're not far off.
I do, yeah, you'll be getting to the two, as far, if you're looking at response times, and honestly, this is my opinion, I don't have objective data on it, but in my opinion, two of the best agencies in the county. As far as quality of care goes.
I mean, our guys, I've been doing the 35 years, our guys are good. Like, I'm really, I'm not saying that because they work for us, but they really sort of renewed my faith in EMS providers because they come in, they do a great job, they make sure the place is spotless, they get out there, they take good care of people, not just clinically, they're nice to the people. Everybody, when we took over, everybody was worried, right? We brought in a bunch of professional firemen and the volunteers were like, we don't, and we don't want them telling us what to do. And our guys couldn't be nicer. Everybody is happy with them. And, I really think we do a pretty good job.
I would like to get more input from the fire company. We've got some sort of meeting with them or something, because they're much more knowledgeable about the day-to-day than I am, so.
Can we make something, David? Yeah, thank you very much, David.
Yes, and we need to get copies of the proposal to you. So,
We can meet after.
One more question. If the town agrees to this work, what would be the turnaround time in terms of getting you the extra crew for the second ambulance?
So there is a process involved. There's a thing called a certificate of need that needs to happen through the health department. We've been told that our lawyers told us it takes 30 days to get it, whether that's true or not. So 30 to 45 days to get that. The biggest thing from our perspective is the finances. If you guys can figure out how to get us the money that we need to pay stuff, we believe that we can put it in place within 36 to 60 days. Yeah. So, I mean, we can, yeah, if it involves me and Tim and Warren actually having to cover shifts, we get it done.
And then is that when you would purchase your new ambulance?
So we have two currently, right?
Okay,
So we would, yeah, we would start the second. We would need to buy a third.
yeah.
So we're talking North English. They've said that they would lend us one if we ever needed it. Like, obviously things have to go for maintenance and if there's something breaks, but we need, we're in the business of worrying about worst case scenarios. So we would want to make sure we have a third one. So.
And that's usually not, I mean, it's already, you don't have to equip it, it already comes equipped.
Well, no, that's not true. So we would have to buy, not the ambulance just comes in an empty box.
Yeah.
So just so an ambulance empty is about $200,000. The stretchers, I don't know whether you've ever seen them. They're power loaded. They're $75,000. A new defibrillator is $30,000. We're currently fundraising for 2 new CPR machines. They're $25,000 each. The video laryngoscopes that we use, so for intubating people, have a little camera on them. They're $2,000. Medications, band-aids, all that sort of stuff. So, yeah. But yeah, that wouldn't, we're not expecting you to come up with $300,000 for that. We get,
Hi, just a question.
Yeah.
One, is this one of the 29 scenarios that Dr. Hayashi?
Yep.
Put together, or is this like a stepping stone to one? Because I know, like,
So this is, yeah.
this is so this is starting just Poestenkill Sand Lake, but with the hope that it's going to
The hope over time is that as it becomes bigger, I think it becomes more, two things. It becomes more cost efficient and effective because we can, instead of, Sand Lake having a spare ambulance and North English having a spare ambulance and Grafton having a spare ambulance, et cetera, you can maybe cut those down to 2 instead of 3. And there are other efficiencies like that as you get larger. The other thing is as the system gets more interconnected and we become sort of one agency or group, the things that I talked about, such as dispatching the closest ambulance to the call location can be something that can happen at that point in time. The resources to be able to do even more advanced things, in sort of the pre-hospital emergency medicine world becomes possible because you can potentially get 2 paramedics if somebody gets really, really sick and gets that. And so those sorts of things start to become possible over time. So yes, the goal, and this board should consider Poestenkill first and foremost, absolutely. But I think in considering the town of Poestenkill in and of itself, I think benefits from working with others in becoming a larger system, because I think those benefits are both cost efficiency and quality of care.
Yeah, and especially the cost part of it, if you want to drive the cost of this down, the way to do it is shared services, right? We've looked at different models, you know, Warren's done a bunch of work on this, and, you know, if we got 4 towns together instead of just 2, we could do something significantly cheaper, because we can, again, we come back to, you know, we need 1 ambulance per 8,000 people, we don't need 1 ambulance per town. So if we locate them in the right place, we move them when we need to, you know, there's an economy of scale there that doesn't exist when you're only 2 ambulances. If you've got a service that has 5 or 8 or 12, then, you know, we can actually make some real savings. So we're trying. Warren's trying.
And there's a lot. So again, Poestenkill is not the only town that's grappling with this, and I'm having a number of conversations with different elected leaders in different towns currently. And so this probably, obviously, this has been a problem that's been brewing for more than 20 years, I think. And it's going to take some time to fix, and I think it's going to be a little bit piecemeal at first, but I'm hopeful that we can continue to have greater and greater collaboration, and it's also strong, hopefully for perpetuity at some point.
What percentage of your billing do you get back?
Good question. So it costs us about $900 on average to go out the door, right? So, and we make a little under half of that back in billing on average. So ambulance billing is unreasonably complicated. If we go to a car accident, we get paid a lot more than if we go to somebody with Medicaid. And so depending on the insurance you have, depending on whether we take you to the hospital or not, if we come and we treat you and you don't want to go to the hospital, then we most of the time do not get paid for that at all. So on average, yeah, our billing revenue is about $450 per call. And obviously the more calls we do, the more we can make on that.
How's the new, is the blood transfusion thing in effect yet now, or it's gonna be, how's that affect you guys?
Yeah. Like, so for those of you who don't know, that paramedics were never allowed to carry or give blood, and they've recently changed the law to allow us to do that. And so it's one of those things that actually is immediately life-saving, right? If you're severely injured for whatever reason and you can get blood, your chance of survival is much higher. So obviously the sooner you get blood, the better. So the only recent change in the law, there's a lot of discussions about how best to do that, because clearly blood is in short supply. One of the plans is sort of like a regional hub where we can store it, people can bring it out, but nobody pays extra for it.
So that's a great question. Thank you for asking it. So the governor signed a law, 4 or 5 months ago or so, allowing ground paramedics to carry blood and initiate blood in New York State. This has been done in other places around the country, in various places. New Orleans has a fantastic pre-hospital blood program that has saved dozens and dozens of lives of otherwise, generally speaking, younger people who would have never survived. There's other places as well that's doing this. Previously, 2 years ago, the governor signed a bill allowing flight paramedics to initiate blood transfusion. That program has also been wildly successful here in New York State and saved a lot of lives. The idea is to try and bring that to make it more available, because if you're to make a helicopter useful for getting you somewhere faster, et cetera, you have to be about 45 minutes plus time to the hospital. And so there's a certain radius that if you fall within, closer to the hospital than that, you're too close for a helicopter to be particularly useful, but you're too far away to get blood to you, right, or get you to the hospital where you can get blood right away. Mm-hmm. So the idea is to try and get blood out to those people. The law has been signed. The Department of Health is still working on the regulations surrounding that. There are committees in the Regional Emergency Medical Advisory Committee that's working on the practical parts of this because blood is very short in supply. And so there's only so many, it's not like blood can be on every ambulance. It's going to have to be sort of centrally located where it can go out to many different places. The financial aspect of this is to get a blood transfusion that actually costs somewhere around the range of $1,000, almost $500 to get a unit of whole blood. And then there's additional costs of other parts of administering it that are not necessarily reimbursable by insurance. And so these systems, while everybody wants to do the right thing and get this out to people, it's fairly expensive, and the system can't just swallow those costs, especially when they're doing it. The way to get that to be a thing, and there are other counties around us, by the way, that are very eager to get this going, working on it. Columbia County, Greene County, and some of those agencies are big enough where they can swallow the costs of administering blood because it's the right thing to do for their people and have the resources to move around to get it there. So they're eager to do it, whether they're going to be reimbursed more for it or not. Rensselaer County is unfortunately at this point in time too fractionated to have any agency that is strong enough to swallow the cost of it, willing to cross all these different town lines to get the blood where it needs to go, which again is one of the benefits that come with having a much larger system. There have been talks. North Greenbush Ambulance is the only agency that, at least in my opinion, is strong enough in the county to potentially do this. But there are still a lot of barriers. And again, they can't afford to go out and cover the whole county with their paramedics and the blood, et cetera, especially when they have the responsibilities to their own, own town first and foremost. If again, as this I'm hopeful that a system can evolve where things can start to cross these lines, and that will become a feasible thing. But at this point in time, it's mostly a it's sort of starting point of discussions rather than something that's going to be feasible in a short period of time. As my role in Albany Med, I do have access to blood and have occasionally been able to get it out to the field in Rensselaer County. This is just a service that Albany Med just provides because it's the right thing to do. But it is not, it's hit or miss. It depends on whether I'm available and the stars align for me to be able to get, blood to the scene, and for me to get there to be able to help administer it or not. So it's worked out a couple times. It's saved a couple of people's lives in this county. But it's not, we don't have a robust enough system up there to be able to provide it at this point in time. So again, the partnership between East Greenbush, North Greenbush, Sand Lake, and hopefully town of Poestenkill, and if that can expand a little bit more, this may be more of a thing that we could see in the near future, but I think we're still a little ways out. Long answer. Hopefully that
Thank you. Happy to discuss anything else? Sure. I mean, it's a valid question, right? Will we go to all of the town? And the answer is yes. Like, absolutely. Yeah. And so will our mutual aid partners. So we go to the top of Taberton already. We would absolutely respond to all parts of the town without hesitation. Yeah. Obviously, it would take us, longer to get there. And, we've had issues over the winter, and we call the county DPW and say, you better clear that road for us because we need to get up it. And they're good about doing it. And, so we tell them, I mean, yeah. And, as we sort of alluded to that, when we need to, we can dump a lot of resources into a problem in this area. I mean, part of the reason that I'm involved in dealing with all of this is because we had a little 3-year-old turn up on our door from an agency outside of, from on the other side, who had been seizing for like 45 minutes because they didn't have anybody to treat it, which was awful, right? But we had 3 paramedics and a doctor waiting for them when they arrived. So that's the level of resources that we can put into problems when they happen. And I know you've had high profile things here, Barbara Falls and those sort of things. I mean, you're not getting us, you're getting everybody, right? You're getting, we have the ability to, when you need help, to get a lot of people to help you. So we're pretty proud of that.
Once, down the road, if they start carrying blood on the ambulances, is that another piece of equipment that you'd have to get? Would be like a rapid infuser?
So the real cost is the storage, right? Like if we want to spend money on on things is how we store it, and that's where the real cost is gonna be. And you know, if you're not able to refrigerate yourself, you're gonna swap it out every 12 hours, and so there's a lot of process involved, and then upskilling our guys to make sure we can do it safely, because the last thing we want to do is drop it on the floor and
Yeah.
waste $500. Yeah, have somebody's head explode.
So right now the plan would be to have 2 ambulances on during the day in the town, and Sand Lake, they'll come over and one at night. At some point, I don't think there's any place that you could put an ambulance in the town of Poestenkill right now, but at some point, would that be an option if this partnership can continue to blossom?
Absolutely. I mean, obviously there's a cost involved, right? If there was, I mean, if you wanted an ambulance in your town 24/7, we could do that. It would be $900,000 a year, but we could do it. And we would need a place to store it. You know, we need bunk rooms, and we need, you know, the ambulances need to be able to be locked inside of warm places, the vegetation's not freeze, all of these sort of things. Yeah, absolutely. You know, we'd be happy to do that, but you know, this I think is the most cost-effective way of doing it to get you guys a level of service that you need, right?
So what would be the next steps from the town board to like move this forward? Is it something that would have to get voted on or proposed to the residents for 2026, or?
What we be doing next is meeting with the fire department, listen to what they got to say. Yeah, and then after that, I'm back to the board on the decision. I believe
You need a referendum because we'll be creating a new taxing district.
It would be a referendum with all the information, all the numbers right out front, so people can make an informed decision.
Ian, is that accurate though? Because I thought the town board can vote that. There's 2 ways to do it. The town board can do it, or it can go to referendum.
Well, because you're creating a taxing district, that you need a referendum.
Does it have to have the taxing district created?
I don't think there's any other source of funding.
Don't, clearly not a lawyer, clearly not informed on, but the town of Sand Lake just has it as a line in their budget. If that comes out of general fund. I mean, Stephen would be able to answer that for you more than I could, but they certainly do that. We also, we use a consulting company that does our billing, that he's come and spoken to us and to Stephen about how to, we've discussed whether we want to tax this or that, and so he's very knowledgeable about that sort of thing too. So, yeah, we're happy to provide any information that you guys have questions about. And I should mention that you know, we've had multiple discussions with the town board in Sand Lake and the town supervisor, and they're very supportive of the proposal as well. So they want to work together as best they can. I think it's a win for both towns.
I think regardless of whether or not we have a public referendum per se, I think we need to have a large public meeting to get as much input from the public about whether or not they support this or not.
down here and up on the hill.
Or maybe at Algonquin in the auditorium, that kind of thing. If necessary,
Without question.
but we really do need to get people's opinions.
Yes, sir.
I think a lot of people, when they see the numbers involved, or I'm guessing they would lean towards supporting it. But the only way to find out is to ask them.
That's right. The reason why I set up the trees for convenience for people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yes. That's what. This will be happening.
In your meeting, with what are the things that Craig had said, whenever you do the meeting, would you also do the proposal that it would be $900,000 if you wanted your own ambulance? Would you also put that out there to the people
I
as
don't want
well?
to share with people the way that.
I don't think that's.
But if the services, you know, on average, getting us under 10-minute response times, I don't know how much better we could do.
I couldn't expect, I mean, if we did that, I don't expect the quality of service you would get to be significantly better than what we already do.
And we don't have a proposal for an ambulance in Post
Station.
We only have the proposal for the shared services for Sand Lake, so I think that would be just making stuff up.
as an initial, I have no idea what's finance in terms of money. Is there any of the COVID money left that could be put into this as an initial? No, okay.
Could we can I make a suggestion that the supervisor and a member of the town board, whether it's the committee person who's with the fire department, meet with the fire department and leaders and talk to them over the next 2 weeks or so, and then report back to the town board. And in the meantime, Ian, if you have the time and availability, if you could look into it, I'm not an expert on it, but my memory says, yes, you can do a public referendum. That's an option. We don't have the fire district, right? This town board contracts with the fire association. The town board could, on its own decision, make this a line item as they do in Sand Lake. That's my understanding, but I'm not a lawyer. I'd like you to look into that.
Yeah, that's something
It's my understanding that this does not have to be a referendum. That's what the past town board chose to do, but that's not what we have to do.
David did make a suggestion about meeting with the fire department.
I didn't know.
Yes, which would. David will, I'm sorry, too many Davids, but David will help us arrange that and move forward. Thank you very much. In the very near future. So that is the direction we'll be taking first, we're getting information back from them, and we get talk, and then possibly have public, not possibly, but we have to have public hearings to get information out in a straight manner, not private in any way, and just factual numbers. And listen to what people have to say coming back to us, and moving forward from there. And be realistic in what we can present, and listen to the offers of trade, and Tim, about it, I ask you over it. And then there's
Tom has my contact information. Anybody's welcome to reach out.
If this came to a vote for the town, you could have a special election, you wouldn't have to wait till November.
We don't have, as far as we understand, we don't have to have a special election. A town board can just approve it. That would be, depending on public meeting.
That's the first step now, we have to get feedback from everyone. Hopefully we get a very, very large turnout and get feelings, instead of just a couple people. But I mean, it's important that people are here now, but we need a cross section of people to respond. Great, thank you very, very, very much. Tim, thank you. Well, thank you very much.
We'll be here on that one. That's right.
Okay, so the next item on the action item, the activity for the revision of the fee schedule, that was been postponed to the next meeting. Because we need to go with the local laws proposed through resolution. Then you have reports, supervisory reports. I had the privilege of attending the library meeting, the fire company meeting. This is what was going on. As Greg has mentioned, comprehensive plan has had several meetings. We're progressing forward on that. We're working on coming up with a final draft proposal and being prepared. And then we proofread by several members of the committee and then come back to the committee for review. And then there'll be another couple down here and up on, there'll be one each down here and up on the hill as far as the public hearing goes. And then presentation to the we have to send them to Windsor County and then back to the board, town board. Been working back and forth a little bit with Brunswick on keeping the new intermunicipal agreement forward on Brunswick and get some type of response. Ian, I believe, is meeting with Brunswick lawyer, Mr. Bloomberg, next week, Monday or so. And been working with the Burge, Frank and I are going down for meeting tomorrow afternoon, to get an update, more accurate information on where we stand with the time and scheduling for District Number 2. Craig has been gracious enough, Sand Lake, gracious enough to give me time back and forth on the phone, answering my questions and getting ready. 8 James Street light is in the National Grid system and then will be installed in fairly short order. And then our insurance, working on our insurance renewal preparation, which have to be done very, very, very soon.
And I continue to work closely with the supervisor on all legal matters affecting the town and town board members and employees as necessary. Tom mentioned the Brunswick water agreement. We're hoping to get something, by the April meeting. For you, a meeting on Monday with the Brunswick town attorney. We'll continue to make progress on that.
Thank you very much. Okay, town clerk's report.
During the month of February, the town clerk took in $1,499.46. Of that amount, $1,413.60 was turned over to the supervisor.
I move that we accept the town clerk's report.
David, thank you very much. And for a second. June seconds. Thank you very much. All those in favor of accepting the town clerk's February 2025 report? Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Thank you very much, Steve. Okay, the assessor's report. Assessors shall submit a report. The assessor's office received exemption renewal applications from February. Our office for property owners throughout the month, reminding them of the 3/1/2024 renewal subscription deadline for exemption renewals. We also received new exemption applications for veteran, agricultural, senior citizen, star, and volunteer fire exemptions. We are processing these applications, which will be updated for the 2025 tentative assessment roll. The assessor's office will continues to routinely process new deeds and parcel split merger documents received from the county. All other functions, including responding to resident inquiries and updating the real property system, continue as well. Thank you, Michelle. Next we have the water management report. Thank you, John.
Did you skip over the building inspector?
Not yet.
Oh, is he after me?
Yeah.
A little bit from him too. This is the water department report for February 2025. Our average usage per day was 126,646 gallons. We had 35 gallons of sodium hypochlorite to sanitize that amount of water. The chloroform tests were all negative. There were 3 dig safe locates for the month of February. Adam was in the town today. He is a gentleman who we were doing the GIS locating with. He loaded up the program on DJ's computer and phone, and on my phone as well. And we went out and tested a few places for accuracy with the phones. Pretty good. Within 3 to 5 feet for the most part. Inside, it wasn't good at all. Outside was considerably better. Loaded on DJ's computer and phone. Regarding the antennas, the order was placed for 75 new antennas, and those 75 new antennas have been received. We have received 8 of the 10 meters. With back order, we have 2 meters on back order. I went out March 11th and did the readings for the first quarter of 2025, and what we had for no reads was 24 no reads. So if you take the existing 7 that went into that, we've only got 17 failing antennas for this first quarter. So it's been considerably more manageable than what we were getting, what we were getting last year, 196 one quarter. So we're moving in the right direction there. We met with a different supplier for the meters and the antennas, just trying to get a feel for what's out there for not only what will adapt to our existing system, but also what we need for water district number 2. More research needs to be done on that. We're currently writing procedures, and sort of going back there for the operation of the pump house and other ancillary equipment. And that's about it for the month of February for the report. Together with the report was a day in the life of the water department. Hopefully, you guys, the board read it. If you have any questions, one thing I failed to mention and other things that have to be done is the AWQR, the annual water quality report has to be done. and they changed the parameters of that. Got an email this week with a new format on that. I can't do that before I leave because I won't have my numbers in for the first testing of the disinfectant byproducts, THA and THMs. But that has to be posted, I believe, beginning of May. But what I'm doing is on the calendar across from my desk, putting down dates like that on that calendar. And before the next person is going to be sitting in my seat, which that's actually my seat. I'm taking that seat with me, but whoever's going to be in that chair.
So Chuck, you said that inside the building, the GPS is harder to
Considerably less accurate, yes.
as determining where the connector is? Meaning, is that what you're looking for?
Oh, it was just inside and we were looking and you saw the accuracy on the phone was 18 to 25 feet. And whatever, what point we were at. I forget what we had focused on at the time to come up for that.
And outside, it's down the curb stop,
Yeah, considerably better.
but still 3 to 5 feet.
With the phone. With the phone.
So what would make it better?
Oh, if we had a computer, a tablet, the tablet would make it considerably better. That we would get the accuracy pretty much what we would have on the GIS system.
The good thing is too, though, is you have pictures from when they went out and actually mapped the system, and that shows up if you're looking for that curb stop. There's a picture there from when they marked it, so it helps you find it too.
In the picture, we tried to show physical references. If it was next to a fence, put a fence, telephone pole.
I mean, realistically, 3 foot's better because there's a lot of as-built where they're like 70 feet off from the plans we had on paper. So that might sound like a lot, but that's a huge night and day difference from what you were looking for.
I want to thank DJ. He did a locate for me that came in later on, emergency locate later on, and was it Wednesday afternoon, Tuesday afternoon?
Yeah.
Later on, so doing that, DJ. That may be something that as going forward, it could be shifted in duties to have DJ be the locating person. He has the GPS in the truck now, and he has the GPS water system. If it goes to a part-time where there's no one here during the day, that would be a way you would be if I have coverage for that.
How are we doing with that person coming into your system?
Oh, we've had to turn people away, Jim. It's been tough.
It's knocking down the door. Okay.
We've had a few interested parties. Tom, I think you would like to add to that.
We had a gentleman in yesterday, and he's very interested, and he'll be setting up an appointment, and Chuck and he will be setting up an appointment to ride together, and then there's one other gentleman too, who we're talking with. And then Bill and Brett, and so there's actually been 3 different parties who expressed interest. Right now. But thank you very, very much. It's been a great experience, a very educational experience, and I appreciate all the patience you've had in explaining this. Thank you very much.
And we still have the tours are open. Frank went this week and we pulled some water out of a hydrant and climbed up to the top of the tank and had a beautiful day. So Tom is jealous, so now we got to take Tom out. We got to go.
Yeah, I got a quick one for Rob.
Thank you, Gordon.
Did you have anything on building?
Oh, yeah, sure. If I can segue right in building. Building inspector now, and if Tracy is listening, I wish you the best recovery from shoulder surgery. So inspections, so far since I took over, I've done 2 footings inspections, 2 wall inspections, 2 frost wall inspections, 1 post pour inspections. I've issued 2 permits, one for a roof re-roof and another one for a basement renovation that did not have any sleeping. So, yeah, no.
Thank you very much, Chuck. Appreciate it. Okay, next item up, the animal control report for 2025, for February 2025. dogs, 3 running at large, barking dog complaints, 2, animal neglect, cruelty, fortunately 0, wildlife, fortunately 1 dead deer, and then all wildlife calls referred to environmental conservation. 5 items. Jay submitted his phenomenal report for February 10th through March 6th. 2 pages worth. Excellent job, excellent work. We thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, 2 things to add tonight. First thing, brush pickup is going to be April 21st through the 25th. I believe that's the last full week in April. And then we received a letter from New York State DOT, not about the speed limit thing. There's going to be a road closure on 351 due to a large culvert replacement going on. Their contractors are there now, starting it over by White Church Road in the town of Brunswick. There's a large culvert that runs underneath that steep hill as you climb up from White Church, and that's going to get all excavated out and redone by a contractor. So there's going to be a permanent road closure during that time, and that's going to be Garfield Road from Eagle Mills right here to the airport for passenger vehicles, and then all truck traffic is going to be running down Route 2 to Bowling Ave and then up 66 all the way back to here. I don't have a time frame on how long they're expecting, but when they go and obtain a county road for a permanent detour during construction, it's probably going to be, I'd say, over a month. So, it's steep. I mean, they're going down probably 25 feet to get to the culvert with that hill. So it's a large excavation project.
Ground without truck guys.
Yeah, it's going to really impact the quarries coming out of Grafton going all the way over here for sure. So,
What was that date again?
I don't have a date yet. They just started cutting trees this week. The contractor that's doing that is also going to be doing one in our town. So right here at 351 in Devan Road, which is one of our dirt roads over on 351, there's a large culvert that runs under there. That one is getting slip lined, so they're not replacing it, and that's going to be 1-lane traffic during that time frame. And then there's going to be some construction on our road as well, on Devan Road. So that road will still be open. There'll be, probably traffic signals, I would assume, or flaggers. But when I have hard dates, I'll let you know. But the closure is going to be coming this spring, early summer, for sure. So, and that'll affect, emergency vehicles too. I'm sure the county will be reaching out at some point.
How would be any idea how many people still access it?
I don't know if, I'm assuming White Church Road will still be open to go into the church. I just don't know about going back out to Route 2, whether or not how that's going to go, but I'm sure they're going to still open up to the church. But yeah, so it's going to certainly affect traffic on 51 for quite a while.
Thank you very much, DJ. I heard about that. Thank you.
No problem.
DJ, is there a way they could put that on the town website of how they're going to reroute?
The state probably has it.
I mean,
Yes.
we have a map that I was given that shows the detour routes. We could probably put a link on that to the website. So I'm sure they'll be having all sorts of signs coming up right here when time comes, but
Yeah.
we can do that.
I think the state website has that kind of information. For highway closures and.
There's also a copy of Sue's office, because I can give you a copy of it.
Thank you very much, DJ. Okay, next item we have is payment of bills.
Move that we pay the highway bills of $9,765.84.
I second the motion. All those in favor of paying the highway bill? Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Thank you.
Move that we pay the general bills of $31,490.00.
Second. Thank you, Frank. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
I move that we pay the ARPA bills of $20,524.88.
Thank you, John. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Okay,
And I move that we pay water district number 2 bills of $90,311.34.
I'll second the motion. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Thank you very much. Public comment period? David, please.
One thing,
The burn ban goes into effect this Sunday.
Thank you, David.
The New York State burn ban goes into effect this Sunday until May 14th. This week, there's been probably 5 or 6 large brush fires, along with a barn fire. So it is very dry out there, so we've been advising everybody not to burn at all, so.
That's it. Thank you very much, Shane. Anyone else? Okay. Now move into executive session. We thank everyone for their attendance tonight, and a very nice evening to you all.
Go ahead, John. Okay. Yeah.
Nobody.
Yep.
Nobody.